G'day friends, it's Vickywright, Independent Stampin' Up Demonstrator, Australia. So welcome back to our sharing of mail cards for the month of August, where Robbie and I are sharing cards specially for males all through August. Just bear with me while I just fix this up. Okay. So I hope that's light enough for you. Sometimes I can't tell. Okay, so again, I'm going to be playing with the Hay Truck bundle. And I'm going to use this one again. If you remember, if you watched the first video, I coloured the rooster, but then we lost it in the middle of all the mess, so I ended up finding it again, so we're going to use it for this card. Okie dokie. So I'll grab our kit. I've got lots of bits and pieces this time. I'll put that aside. I'll put that over there so I don't get ink on it. Oops, sorry. And I've already pre-done a couple of things. Just bear with me. I'll just grab a scrap piece of paper. Okay. Because we're going to do a little bit of blending. So I'll grab our bits and pieces. We're going to use the 20, 23, 25 in colours, and this is wild wheat. Now I will admit that I didn't think I'd be a fan, but I like this colour when I use it. It seems to go with everything. So that's our DSP we're going to be using. We're going with basic white, and our base card is Crumb Cake. Okie dokie. And then we're going to introduce a couple of other different colours. We've got strips of Pebbled Path. Okay, so I've already pre-die cut a square using the stylish shapes dies, and we're going to sponge colour onto this, or blend colour onto it with Old Olive and Pill Party. Okie dokie. So we'll go with our Old Olive first. So we want to make this a little bit grassy. And we're going to go, I'm going to have our shape that way. So I always sort of turn my shapes, or my not DSP, but cardstock, the opposite, or on an angle. Okay, so we're just gonna blend a little bit over along the bottom. With our blend and brush and the Old Olive ink pad. You can mask it off if you wanted to, but I'm just going to judge it by eye. Now I think my ink pad probably needs a little bit of ink put on it. Just do one more for good measure. And that's it. Then we're going to come in with our Pill Party. Put that aside. Let's flip this around. change our blending brush, and I've got Pool Party Now, and again I'm just going to add a little bit along the top. And I'm coming down where the two colours meet so that I don't get a little bit of that white space where the two colours meet. So I'm going into the Old Olive a little bit, but being careful not to create another colour. And I think that'll be it. So that's our shape done. We can put that straight aside. We'll bring in our DSP, and what we're going to do, I'm thinking, I like to, when I'm using DSP, I like to pop it up. So I'm thinking we might pop that up, eh? See how we go. So I'm just grabbing some dimensionals. We're just going to pop a couple on the back of our stitch square. Whoops. Making sure it's nice and straight, our DSP, and then I'm just going to pop that in the middle there like that. I want our square to be nice and square too. Okay. Then we're going to bring in our strips. This is Pebbled Path, and what we're going to do is put our strips around our card. Now you've probably seen this on the internet. I think it's called fractured cards or fractured technique. Now I don't know whether they pop the centre up or not. That's what we're going to do. You could also cut the centre out if you wanted to, and then do it that way. So what you would do is cut your centre out and then put a piece in behind so that you could have an image or a greeting or something on that piece. So just bear with me, I'm just going to take this down. So your first piece goes in line with that, and then you just take it out there like that. Okay, so now I could cut that off as I go and use it, but I think I've cut enough pieces that we can cut it all off at once. Then our next piece, whoops, is going to go down this side, just like that. Okay, so that meets that corner to that corner there, and then comes down. Then we're going to do our next piece. Now you could probably have any shape, but I'd probably keep to the shapes where it's easy. Your shapes are very easy to match up or line up. Okay, so I'll just put that one right there, and I'm just coming in to the line of that stitch shape there, the edge. Okay, I'm not going underneath it, I'm just keeping it straight on the edge there. Even though it's popped up, it's pretty easy to see. And then for our last one, now you don't have to have this shape on an angle if you didn't want to. You could have it on any sort of an angle, but for interest's sake, I'd keep it on an angle. I think it creates more of a wow, and then that's that. Okie dokie. Then we can come in with our scissors and we can even our sides out. I'll just put those in the bin. And that's it. That's all there is to it. Pretty easy. Okay. Then we'll bring in a piece of basic white, and we're going to stick this to the DSP to our basic white. Oh, I just haven't chopped that enough. Now you don't have to layer it onto an extra layer if you don't want to. You can put it straight onto your base card, but I always like the layer behind. I always like 2 or 3 layers on my cards. Okay, so that's done. And then we're going to bring in our base card, which is Crumb Cake. I haven't even scored that. So we'll just score that at 418 or 10.5 centimetres. Or if you're doing letter size, 4 1/4. And then making sure our edges are all nicely lined. Burnish along that fold line, and then we'll bring this layer back, and we'll stick this to our basic card, or to our basic card, to our base card, just like that. And that's basically it. So that's what's called a fractured card. Okay. Then of course, as I said, we did our rooster the other day and we lost it in our video. But I've coloured his tail moody mauve. The top of his head is moody mauve. This little part is Crumb Cake. I don't know what you call these little things. The upside down heart is Poppy Parade, and his beak is Pumpkin Pie. So we're going to pop him up there. Okay, and again we're going to use Stampin' Dimensionals. And I die cut it with the Hey Chook dies. I'll do one more for good measure. And we'll put that right smack bang there. It's a cheeky little thing, these chooks. Then we're going to do our greeting. And we're going to make it into a birthday. yeah, it's your birthday. So let's do that. Now I've already die cut a piece of basic white with the banner shape from the same stylish shapes dies, and I've cut it back a little bit shorter. Okay, so what you do is you put your die in. I'll just grab the die. What I do is I put my die in like that, and I cut my basic white, okay, just like that. You'll come out with the shape, and then I put it back the shape. I put the die back over the shape, and 9 times out of 10 you can feel it slot in. So I take this up to where I want it, as is, so for example there, so we want this end a little bit shorter. I put it back in, and as I said, 9 times out of 10 you can feel it slot back in. I will then take it and put it through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and that will give you that shorter piece or shape. Okay, I hope I've explained that well enough. So we're going to stamp that in, let's do Old Olive, eh? So we'll just stamp that. Whoops. So that might be out of eyesight for a little bit, so just bear with me. I just want to make sure I get it nice and straight. That's pretty good. Now if you wanted to, you could have just stamped a sentiment in the middle of that square and not put the rooster on the top. You could still emboss it and then stamp your sentiment in a dark colour that will stand out, or you could heat emboss it. And we're just going to put a couple of dimensionals on our little shape. And we're just going to put that right here, I think. Just like that. And to finish it off, we're going to grab a piece of basic white and a couple of pieces of leftover DSP, same DSP, and we're going to stick a piece to the inside, and we're going to put a piece on the envelope as well, the front of the envelope. If you don't have leftover DSP, you could always stamp something in the middle if you wanted to, or you could just leave it and not worry about putting an extra piece inside. So we'll just cut that off. Now, if you didn't have any DSP, you could have stamped your layer instead of using DSP, and then create your card the same way. So create your own DSP, in other words. So that's that. Now also too, there's a link below to my blog where you'll find all the measurements, a step-by-step tutorial with the link to this video, as well as the link to Robbie's blog. So don't forget to click on that to find out what she's created. And that's it. And I don't even think we'll put any bling on that. I think we might just leave it as is, eh? So that's our thing. Now, I'm not sure whether you're aware, but our exclusive online class that Robbie and I do each month is featuring the Hey Chuck bundle, and which means you get 4 cards with video links, step-by-step tutorial, measurements, A4 metric and imperial, plus the letter size. So depending on what size you use, it's all catered for. And you've got 2 options. You can purchase the bundle and receive the make and take, the kits, as well as the PDF, or you can purchase the PDF tutorial. Now, it closes on the 15th, so you only got a couple of days left to grab these kits. But the tutorial you can grab anytime you like. Okie dokie. So thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate it, and I hope you give this fun technique a bit of a try. Okay, thanks a lot. See ya. Hooray.